So today I'm gonna teach you how to completely destroy your passion for art. 5 easy steps, very effective, works every time. Obviously, this is everything that you should avoid doing, right? But after teaching for over a decade, I keep seeing artists make the same 5 mistakes, and then a year later, they're in my comments saying that they've lost their passion for art and they don't know what happened. Well, it didn't just happen. They killed it, slowly, by accident, without ever noticing. And here's why this matters. A real passion is very rare. Like, most people have hobbies that they're kind of lukewarm about, but an actual passion, like something that pulls you, most people don't ever find one in their entire life. So if you've got that with art, well, protect it, because it's way easier to protect than to try and resurrect. And here are the 5 ways that artists kill theirs. Let's go into it. So the first way to kill your passion is to strap a deadline to it. Like, I need to be like job ready by graduation day, or I quit my job now, so I've got like about 6 months before I run out of money, so I gotta make it within that time. Sounds responsible, maybe, but art skills grow kind of like a tree. Like, better soil and more water sure will help it grow faster, but there's a hard limit. It still takes years. So when you set a deadline your skill physically cannot meet, it kind of transforms into like a more of a progress check that inevitably you're behind on. And that kind of stress compounds daily, and it's pure poison. So the fix is to shrink your goal until they're winnable. Like, your brain releases the same kind of reward chemicals for small wins as for big ones. So it really doesn't care about the size. It just cares whether it's a win or not. So you want to stack those small wins. Like, maybe it's just like a simple exercise that you do every single day, or maybe it's a drawing that you finish every week, whatever it is. So you want to stack those small wins, because each of those wins will feed that passion. And all the career stuff, that just arrives as more of a side effect of years of small wins. So chasing it down on the timer will instead just completely burn the whole thing down. I don't recommend it. The second way is to turn your art into a chore. Who likes chores? Nobody, right? Grinding studies is zero fun for most people. You would think that more studying equals more art gains, right? But art really works more like a workout, so you can technically overtrain. If every session is just exercises with no play, well, your brain files art under just work, it just becomes work, and nobody's passionate about homework, nobody normal. So never do a pure study if you can't help it. Maybe start the anatomy study and then let it turn into a cool character, or like push your best gesture drawing into a finished character design in a cool pose. You still get the skill XP, but you also get the fun part, the reason that you started in the first place, right? So keep those studies short and then go draw something fun and self-indulgent, If your art time is 90% studies and just 10% fun, you're slowly killing your passion. It's just a matter of time. The third way, and this might be the deadliest one, is to kind of just marinate in comparison every day. Your feed is a machine that collects the best art from the best artists on the planet and delivers it straight to your eyeballs forever, right? So most of the time you end up comparing your year 2 or year 3 or more, depending on how long you've been practicing, or less maybe. But you're comparing that to someone's year 15 or year 20. And usually it's not just one of those people, right? It's like hundreds of artists that have been doing this for many more years than you have. And you get bombarded by this kind of curated, beautiful art nonstop. So unfortunately, nobody's passion really is able to survive that kind of stuff. And the problem is that it doesn't really feel harmful in the moment. It feels more like, well, maybe that's what inspiration is supposed to feel like, right? So it's one of those things where you have to kind of check yourself. What do you feel like when you close down your app after looking at a bunch of cool art? Do you feel like, well, what's the point? And if so, that's not really inspiration. That would be more like damage that you're doing. And that little bit of damage to your motivation, to your passion, well, it piles up quietly. And one day you'll notice that you haven't wanted to draw in like 3 or 4 weeks. So what I would do is be very careful in the way that you curate the arts that you follow. So follow artists that are slightly ahead of you. where the gap reads more as a, like, I could get there, you know, where you can easily imagine yourself getting there because it's not too far ahead. And I would completely mute the ones that are consistently making you feel like garbage, even if they're amazing, especially if they're amazing, if anything. Your passion is fed by making things and starved by watching other people make things. Now, the fourth way is the sneakiest because it happens on autopilot pretty much. Like, you can accidentally train your brain to associate art with feeling bad. And here's what I mean by that. Your brain is an association machine. You're constantly linking activities with how you feel during them. So imagine this, right? You're drawing, it's going badly, let's say. You get frustrated and then you walk away to do something more fun, something else. Just screw this drawing. It's not working out. That might feel harmless in a moment, but your brain just logged two things. First, drawing felt bad, and then leaving felt like relief. You see the problem here maybe? Because if you do that like 50 times, well, your brain will slowly start flinching every time you think about sitting down at that desk before you even pick up the pen. And that dread that you can't explain, it's kind of you that built it, one frustrated exit at a time. So the way that you fix this is to never end a session on a low note. So when it's going badly and you want to quit, don't leave yet. Switch to something easy first, like just even like 2 minutes of doodling something that you know you can draw well, and then leave. Because now the last thing that your brain logs is, well, that was fine, actually. It wasn't going well for a little bit, but you know, we picked things up in the end and ended up on a good note. So it's the same session really, but a completely different memory written to your hard drive, to your brain. And this kind of logic applies everywhere else as well. Like if posting online reliably wrecks your mood, well, post less. If a Discord makes you feel small, well, leave it. You really want to maintain that one thing, that one association that keeps this whole thing running. Art equals good. The second that you catch yourself feeling bad, you have to identify why and correct it. Otherwise, you're toast. Now, there's one more killer that I see constantly, and a lot of it comes down to just grinding hard without a proper structure. Because nothing kills your passion faster than making effort but seeing no progress. If you're working hard and the needle isn't really moving, your method is probably the problem. It's not your skill, it's not your talent. And that's exactly what my complete art education program tries to fix. Art School for Digital Artists, the sponsor of this video. With Art School, you get 30 in-depth classes from the fundamentals to professional level work, structured week by week so you always know what to work on next. And you can actually feel yourself improving. You get lifetime access, all future updates for free, plus a private Discord with over 20,000 students. There's no subscription, there's no recurring fees, none of that. And you can actually get the program at a massive discount because of our summer sale is ongoing and it's gonna be going on until the end of the month only. There's still a couple of days left, so make sure that you don't miss out by checking the link down in the video description. It should answer all of your questions. Now, we have one more passion killer left. Let's get back to the video. Now, the fifth way to kill your passion is to turn it into a business as fast as possible. Feels like you read everywhere that you should monetize your hobbies, right? So like open commissions, start a Patreon. I even made a class recently going over all the ways that you can monetize your art. And look, I make art for a living. I'm definitely not against the destination, but the timing matters way more than people think. Because the moment money enters the picture, everything kind of changes. Like you stop drawing what excites you and you start drawing what sells. It makes sense. Then deadlines show up, clients will show up with revisions, after revisions. At least in my opinion, everything that makes art fun or that made art fun in the beginning, kind of to relieve pressure, to relax, to relieve stress, right? Now all of that kind of gets added back when it becomes a job. And there's a well-known effect in psychology here as well. When you attach external rewards to something that someone does for joy, the internal motivation shrinks. So I would keep art as your passion for as long as you possibly can. Build skill because building skill feels good. And if you get good enough, opportunities will start knocking on their own. And then going pro becomes more of a small step instead of a desperate leap. It's so important that you protect the passion first because it's the engine for everything else. If you lose it, you're cooked. So here's a quick recap of all the passion murder weapons. Deadlines your skill can't meet, turning every session into homework, marinating in comparison, training your brain to associate art with frustration, and monetizing before the passion can survive it. If you can dodge those 5, your passion will mostly take care of itself. Passions are not necessarily fragile, they just have like very specific weaknesses, and you know all of them now. So don't screw this up. But if the damage is already done, and like if you're thinking, bro, it's too late, I already have 0 motivation left, well, I would say that's probably not the case because you're watching this video, so there's still a little bit of a blaze left. So I would watch my video on art blocks next, where I break down the brain science of why you get blocked and the fastest way out. It's like the rescue mission if this video is the prevention guide. So it'll be up here on screen in just a second. Click that link. I'll see you over there. Do it now.